Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India News Hour, India's voice to the world. I'm Anil Thomas. Coming up in the next hour. Another group of 13 Israeli hostages and 4 foreign nationals released by Hamas. Foreign ministers of South Korea, China and Japan to hold talks in Busan on resuming trilateral leaders summit. India celebrates Constitution Day. The Indian Constitution was adopted by the Constituent Assembly on the 26th of November in 1949. India all set to continue with their winning run as they take on Australia in the second T20 in the southern state of Kerala. India lead the 5-match series 1-0. The second group of 17 hostages released by Hamas on Saturday. The hostages include 13 Israeli and 4 Thai nationals. Hostages arrived on board a bus early hours of Sunday at Egypt's Rafah crossing, where ambulance and medical staff were awaiting their arrival. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, along with the National Security Advisor and other military officials, monitored the operation of bringing back the second batch of hostages freed from Hamas captivity. The official release happened later in the night after a brief disruption. Earlier, to deal to free captives was overcome with the mediation of Qatar and Egypt. As part of the hostage deal, Israel confirmed it had released a further 39 Palestinian prisoners. Well, today is the third day of the 4-day truce between Israel and Hamas in Gaza. During the first 2 days of the truce, a total of 41 hostages, including 24 Israeli and 17 foreign nationals, were released by Hamas. A total of 50 hostages are to be exchanged for 150 Palestinian prisoners over 4 days under the truce. Israel Defense Forces said that 200 trucks with humanitarian aid were sent to international aid organizations. In a video posted on social media, the IDF said that the trucks loaded with aids were sent to aid agencies operating in Gaza through the Rafah crossing. The aid was sent as part of the operational pause and within the framework for the release of the hostages agreed with the US with the mediation of Qatar and Egypt. It further added that the humanitarian aid trucks carried food, water, equipment for shelters and medical supplies. Earlier, the IDF spokesman, Daniel Hagari, in a press briefing said that aid is being delivered under the supervision of the UN aid agencies. Israel's Foreign Minister Eli Cohen met with the Thai workers on Saturday. These Thai nationals were among the hostages released from Gaza on Friday, following a temporary truce between Israel and Hamas. Thai and Filipino farm workers employed in southern Israel were among around 240 hostages taken to Gaza by gunmen when Hamas terrorists launched a killing spree on October 7th. Israel's Defense Minister Yoav Gallant met on Saturday with commanders and fighters fighting against Hamas in Gaza. According to the statement, the Israeli Defense Minister arrived there on boat on a naval vessel together with the commander of the Israeli Navy, Vice Admiral David Shamar Salma. He toured the northern coast and received a briefing on the troops' activities during operations and security measures taken during the temporary truce agreed with Hamas.
There is a direct correlation between your actions and the elimination of the Hamas, and also between your actions and our ability to bring back the hostages. That's the process. The time frame for the pause is short. It won't take weeks. It will take days, a little more or little less. Any further negotiations will be held under fire. That is, they want to continue discussing the next time. It will be held while our forces are fighting. That's the basic. We cannot leave Gaza and stop the war until we reach a situation in which we bring back all the hostages, because we have many more captives.
רוצים להמשיך ולדון על הפעם הבאה, זה יהיה כשהפצצות נופלות.
Well, speaking on Saturday regarding the release of hostages held by Hamas, US President Joe Biden expressed his optimism to see something soon, after a temporary delay over a dispute about supplies appeared to threaten the deal. As reported by Qatar's foreign ministry, the International Committee of the Red Cross verified shortly after Joe Biden's remarks that Hamas had turned over 4 foreigners and 13 Israeli hostages to the group. Moving on, the foreign ministers of South Korea, China and Japan met in South Korea on Sunday, seeking to restart cooperation among the Asian neighbors and to pave the way for a trilateral summit. While China and the United States have been mending frayed ties, including a summit this month between President Xi Jinping and Joe Biden, Beijing is concerned that Washington and its key regional allies are strengthening their three-way partnership. The 3 top diplomats are in-gathering in the port city of Busan, also the first such meeting since 2019. South Korean Foreign Minister Park Jin met separately on Sunday morning with his Japanese counterparts Yoko Kamikawa and China's Foreign Minister Wang Yi. Well, campaigning for his election, Congo's opposition candidate Denis Mugabe promised to work towards a well-structured and modernized military if elected. A 2018 Nobel Peace Prize laureate, Mugabe attended his first election rally in Bukavu since officially announcing his candidature back in October. He is pitted against 2 people, the President Felix Tshisekedi, whose first term was mired by economic hardships and epidemics and worsening insecurity in the east, as well as Martin Fayulu and Moise Katumbi in the presidential elections scheduled for December 23rd this year. Well, Madagascar's incumbent president, Andry Rajoelina, has won a 3rd term following a disputed election boycotted by the opposition and its supporters. He won 59% of the votes to defeat his 2 closest rivals there. DD India's Isaac Lucando has more.
Turnout in Madagascar's election was recorded at 46%, one of the lowest in the island's history. 11 million voters had to choose between the incumbent President Andry Rajoelina and 12 other candidates. The low turnout was influenced by calls for a boycott from 10 presidential contenders who withdrew their candidacies. Their decision was based on concerns about the election's credibility and the validity of President Rajoelina's candidacy due to his dual French nationality. Despite their withdrawal, the names of these candidates remained on the ballot. Following the release of provisional results, the opposition has officially stated that it does not recognize them. Their hope now lies in the High Constitutional Court, the country's highest court, which is tasked with validating the election results within 9 days. This period allows for the filing of appeals in the event of any challenges to the election results. Isaac Lucando in Dar es Salaam, reporting for DD India.
Well, a major goal of the COP28 summit in Dubai will be reaching a new agreement to address the world's suffocating plastic problems. Reports predict that the volume of plastic entering the world's oceans could triple in the next 15 years if immediate corrective action is not taken. One major polluter is Japan, a country which is second only to the United States in the amount of per capita plastic waste it generates per capita. Experts there are warning that the country's worsening plastic addiction is already unsustainable. Chris Gilbert has more from Tokyo.
The environmental cost of convenience. Millions of plastic bottles, buckets, tires and toys washed up on the banks of East Tokyo's Arakawa River. It's an indictment and illustration of Japan's plastic problem. Volunteers come here every week to clear the grass, collect the trash and carry it off. The group has collected 16,000 bags of plastic in 6 years. and it's not finished yet.
We're cleaning much faster than it's accumulating, for sure. You know, and people all over Japan, there are thousands of beach cleanups all over Japan. We can't even get it all done. You know, we just keep hitting it every week. We just keep chopping at it. You know, so we'd like to have more people joining.
While these volunteers are making headway, the country is barely making progress with kicking its dependency on plastic. Japan produces more than 21 billion plastic bottles annually, a 65% increase over the last 2 decades. And while it's a world leader for waste collection, with recycling services reaching more than 90% of households, experts are concerned about how that waste is recycled. Every year, more than 2.5 billion plastic bottles are incinerated and pumped into the atmosphere, where the microscopic debris stays until it's inhaled or settles on the land or ocean. Professor Hiroshi Okochi's research team has found microplastics in the clouds 1,000 feet above Mount Fuji.
Today, the weather seems fine, but there are definitely microplastics flying around in the air. Humans know about the plastic waste in the ocean. They know about the harm to animals because they can see it. But there are plastics all around us right now. They're just invisible.
He says the concentration of airborne plastic may be especially high in megacities like Tokyo.
Japan's work-focused culture has fed its waste consumption. Busy people on the go can get a nutritious lunch and a coffee for less than $5. But there are long-term costs for this convenience, the waste that remains, and the taxpayer-funded recycling system.
But even recycling is not a foolproof method of disposing of plastic waste.
Ultimately, plastic wastes are prone to stay. It's hard to completely clear them, even if they're recycled. Our waste will stay with future generations. They will inherit it in all forms. It will impact their intestines and reproductive system. They will pay for our waste.
He says the cost responsibility must be shifted from taxpayers to producers to lift the price of plastic and deter its use if Japan is to help lead the world towards a more sustainable future. Chris Gilbert in Tokyo, reporting for DD India.
Well, Argentinian women took to the streets to call for an end to gender-based violence and also defend especially their right to legal abortion following the election of right-wing liberational candidate there, Javier Milei. Hundreds marched on the day for the elimination of violence against women. Protesters said that Milei and his cabinet posed a threat to the rights of women. In the past, Milei had said that he intends to revert rights gained by Argentinian women, such as access to abortion. Still to come on DD India News Hour. More air defense needed to protect grain exports, says Zelensky. NASA warns a perfect storm is expected to hit Earth today. Unforgettable experiences in Sri Lanka as dolphin watching attracting tourists.
India International Trade Fair, celebrating Indian artisans. Meet the changemakers.
Sahil is my son. He's 25 years old. He is differently able. He has a capacity of making beautiful handicrafts.
हम लोग अपनी इंडियन टॉयज जो पुरानी कल्चर्स हैं उसको बढ़ावा देने के लिए सर लकड़ी की सारे प्रोडक्ट्स बनाते हैं हम लोग.
Wherever we give the products, we deliver the products to any client. We don't use plastic.
Rich artistic traditions and a vision of sustainable development.
You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Anil Thomas. Updates now from the Russia-Ukraine conflict. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has addressed especially an international organization there, an international summit on food security in Kyiv Over the weekend, Zelensky said that Ukraine needs more air defense to protect its grain export routes as well as regionals bordering Russia. He added that Kyiv hoped to solve its air defense shortage through new supplies from partners and increasing its own production capacity. Zelensky said Ukraine would be supplied by its foreign partners with vessels to accompany convoys of cargo ships from Ukraine's ports to guarantee their security.
Deficit with air defense in Kyiv, but there are cities in Ukraine that have significant problems with air defense. As of today, I can't say the details of what we are making and where, but there is progress. We count on our partners and on ourselves. This is regarding air defense systems.
Well, a statue of a Ukrainian prisoner of war, Alexander Metsevitsky, was unveiled in his hometown on Saturday. The execution of the soldier was filmed by Russian forces. The unarmed soldier was quickly hailed by Ukrainians as a hero. His mother remembers her son pledging never to surrender. On to updates from North Korea, where the state media has reported that the leader Kim Jong-un has visited the spy satellite control center on Saturday to review photos of different target regions in South Korea taken in the morning, including Busan. It added one photo showed U.S. aircraft carrier Carl Vinson, which arrived at a port in the South Korean city of Busan on November 21st. Hundreds of women marched on downtown Mexico City to speak out against gender-based violence over the weekend. Human rights and feminist organizations, along with groups of parents of disappeared people, took to the streets for the elimination of violence against women. Protesters demanded justice for femicide victims. Thousands of people marched in Madrid to mark the International Day of Non-Violence Against Women, calling for an end to violence of patriarchy and demanding affirmative action from governments. Protesters marched across Gran Via Avenue wearing purple clothes and chanting against violence. Protesters also demonstrated solidarity with Palestinians, waving flags and staging a performance in front of Madrid's City Hall. The number of women who have died from gender violence in Spain has risen to 1,273 since 2003. This year, 52 women have been killed by their partners or former partners. Well, hundreds of women marched in Lima to demand justice for the victims of femicides in the country, marking the International Day of Elimination of Violence Against Women on Saturday. The demonstrations brought attention to the issues of gender-based violence, including rape, child pregnancies, and murder. Peru has witnessed 110 cases of femicides and over 110,000 cases of gender-based violence within families in the current year. Similar protests were held in Italy, where tens of thousands of people took to the streets of main cities across the nation over the weekend to mark the International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women. The protests came just days after an Italian man suspected of killing his former girlfriend was extradited from Germany. In weather news, the number of people killed by floods from heavy rains in Somalia has climbed to 96, with nearly 7 lakh people driven from their homes. The flooding has been described as the worst in decades and has displaced about 7 lakh people, according to the United Nations. Like the rest of East and Horn of Africa, Somalia has been battered by relentless heavy rains that began in October, caused by the El Nino and the Indian Ocean dipole weather phenomena. The intense rains have unleashed widespread flooding across the country, triggering displacement and aggravating the already existing humanitarian crisis caused by years of insurgency. A new round of cold wave will sweep across most parts north of the Yangtze River from Sunday. As per the Chinese Meteorological Department, that's the CMD, there will be frequent cold waves in the next 10 days. More cold air mass will move from the north to the south, impacting the central and eastern regions of the country. Under the influence of the cold wave, temperatures will generally drop by 4 to 6 degrees Celsius. The Met Department continues to issue a blue warning for strong winds over the weekend. It also said that there will be an increase in the precipitation in China over the next 3 days. Meanwhile, NASA has warned that a powerful solar storm is expected to hit the Earth on Sunday. According to the space agency, the number of sunspots has increased by 10 times in the last 1 week. Sunspots are areas with strong magnetic fields. Hot matter called plasma interacts with the magnetic field, sending a burst of plasma away from the sun in the form of a flare. These flares unleash a barrage of solar storms towards the Earth, and the storms can trigger radio blackouts, can also endanger spacecraft orbiting the Earth. Time now to take a look at some other stories from around the world. A fire tore through the shopping mall in southern Pakistani city of Karachi on Saturday. The officials said that at least the fire has killed at least 11 people. According to the local media, the blaze started early in the morning at a multi-storied shopping mall. The fire brigade has rescued over 50 people, and the fire was caused by an electric short circuit in a generator. 2 Indian nationals have been killed in an head-on collision between a truck and a private car in Bangladesh's southern city of Shatkhira on Saturday. One other person was also injured in the accident. The injured was admitted to the hospital. It's a race against time in a jungle in Bolivia as this sanctuary sends out rescuers to recover animals hurt in large-scale wildfires. The Inti Warayasi Animal Refuge in La Paz has collaborated with volunteers and firefighters to aid animals in need. Rescuers patrol the forest searching for animals at risk or injured by the fires and treat them until they have recovered. While climate change has affected animals more than humans globally, workers at the Pristina Bear Sanctuary in Kosovo are busy in taking care of a lion named John, puzzled by the heavy snowfall in its enclosure. Similarly, some of the bears in the sanctuary also didn't bother to hibernate during suitable weather conditions. Well, Calpetia is perfect for dolphin and whale watching these days. Beautiful scenes of swarms of dolphins, fishes is a common sight in the Calpetia seas. Large number of locals and foreign tourists have flocked to the beach to watch the manifold behaviors of these fishes. Well, showcasing the life and illustrious career of NBA great LeBron James, a museum opened in Ohio on Saturday. Fans lined up to get a look at LeBron James' home court, where they took a self-guided tour offering an insight into his life and journey from Akron to the NBA, Olympics, business, philanthropy, and beyond. The museum is located at House 330, a facility started by James Foundation to serve the community where he was raised. All proceeds from ticket sales will go back into the community. Still to come on DD India News Hour. More delay in the rescue of 41 workers trapped in the Silkiara tunnel. Nation remembers the victims of the 26/11 Mumbai attacks on the 15th anniversary of the tragedy. Updates from the ongoing 54th International Film Festival of India in Goa.
With just don't bring you the news as it unfolds. We get to the heart of the matter.
We don't just present facts. We demystify complex social, political and economic events.
We break stories that shape the world's present and future because you deserve the truth.
I am Tanvi Taneja from New Delhi.
I'm Ollie Barrett from London.
I'm Nick Harper from Washington, D.C.
Join us on DD India Global Monday to Friday at these times.
India International Trade Fair, celebrating Indian artisans. Meet the change makers.
Sahil is my son. He's 25 years old. He is differently able. He has a capacity of making beautiful handicrafts.
हम लोग अपनी इंडियन टॉय जो पुरानी कल्चर्स है उसको बढ़ावा देने के लिए सर लकड़ी के सारे प्रोडक्ट्स बनाते हैं हम लोग.
Wherever we give the products, we deliver the products to any client. We don't use plastic.
Rich artistic traditions and a vision of sustainable development.
Welcome to Jharkhand, the land of forests. Mesmerizing abundance of nature. Vast accumulation of natural resources. Rich legacy of contributing to India's economic foundations. Preserving a vast and diverse tribal culture. With diverse offerings, Jharkhand is a haven for various tourism activities, shaping India's future generations with quality education, a breeding ground for future sports persons. Experience the sheer richness of nature and culture, diversity of tribal heritage, traditions and craft, and progressive development and growth.
You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Anil Thomas. Another group of 13 Israeli hostages and 4 foreign nationals released by Hamas. Foreign ministers of South Korea, China and Japan to hold talks in Busan on resuming trilateral leaders summit. India celebrates Constitution Day. The Indian Constitution was adopted by the Constituent Assembly on November 26, 1949. India looked to get that winning run going against Australia in the second T20 in the southern state of Kerala. India lead the 5-match series 1-0. Massive rescue operations is currently underway to evacuate the trapped workers in the Uttarakashi in the Indian state of Uttarakhand. The rescue operations to prepare an escape route for the 41 workers trapped inside the Silkyara tunnel Rescuers will now focus on vertical drilling after the rescue operation was again halted after the auger machine broke down. There were only a few meters of debris left between the rescuers drilling in from the Silkyara end and the trap workers, but officials say it is difficult to anticipate when the last leg of the operation will be completed. Prime Minister is taking stock of the rescue operations, and the trap workers are being provided food and medicines. Besides, video communication too has been established. The landline facility is being set up by BSNL at the tunnel to enable the stranded workers to interact with their family members. Well, for more on the story, Dibendu Mandal joining us from Uttarkashi. Good morning, Dibendu. Dibendu, looking at, now that there is a delay with the auger machine, faltering, is it going to be more of, the vertical plan still on, but still from the Silkyara front? Do you see manually now trying to get those, trapped workers out as the best viable option?
Well, good morning, Anil. The authorities here have been talking to the stakeholders and having consultation meeting, and what has been decided as of now is that the vertical drilling will not take place immediately as of now, because if you can see behind me the hill, the machine is a huge machine. The vertical drilling machine has to climb on top of the hill, which is a time-taking process, and from there to reach to the workers is about around 100 meters. So this is a very long way and could take possibly weeks to complete if that plan has to be taken into consideration. But however, as the Chief Minister of Uttarakhand, Pushkar Dhami, yesterday said that a plasma cutting machine is being brought from Delhi here at the Silkyara site. We are believed to understand that the plasma cutting machine has arrived early in the morning today and will be deployed inside the tunnel very soon. What the plasma cutting machine will do perhaps is remove the auger machine which is stuck inside the debris. It has also been given to understand that once the laser cutting machine helps to bring the stuck auger machine inside the debris, manual digging of the debris will start by workers inside. So we are also given to understand that about 20 meters is still left to reach to the workers, and a manual digging, of course, will take some more time, and it is expected that a manual digging will take, like for 1 meter, it could take about 4 to 5 hours. So you can understand the timeline for the rescue has, of course, been extended, and a decision on whether to deploy the auger machine further is something that is yet to be ascertained. So to wrap up, I would say the rescue efforts is still on, but however, a delay is expected in the rescue operation as to when these 41 workers who have been trapped inside for the 15th day now would see the light of the day.
Okay, looking at, you mentioned 15 days, but, how do you see this, this last phase of rescue operations? If it goes, into a physical mode, how much of timeline is needed for the evacuation? And if the new machine that's been brought in, if that works, how quickly or how soon can we see those, trapped people inside, see the light of the day?
Well, Anil, despite the deployment of the plasma cutting machine, we are being told that manual digging is the best option, because the rescue operators here have faced several hurdles with the machines earlier, and they are not going to take any chance, because the auger machine for the last 1 week had been trying to dig into the debris, but it had reached and hit obstacles almost every day. So therefore, the decision to deploy the auger machine is being being ruled out as of now, and the plasma cutting machine is perhaps a tool to remove the stuck auger machine that is stuck inside the debris. So however, the authorities say that manual digging now is perhaps the best option, but a very delayed option. But it could, I mean, of course, it could take some more time, but it will be possible only through manual digging, because we are just about 20 meters away from reaching to the rescue operators. But having said this, the rescue, the authorities here and people who are involved in the rescue are also saying that they are also considering other possible option. But however, having said this, all the other possible options are a very long and time-consuming option. But as I said, they have almost reached about 46 meters, and about 20 meters is still left to reach to the workers who are trapped inside, the 41 workers who are trapped inside.
Okay, we'll leave it there. Vertical drilling almost being ruled out there, but we'll have to wait and watch when these 41 people who are trapped inside that tunnel see the light of the day. We'll thank you and appreciate your joining us this morning on NewsHour. Well, Viksit Bharat Sankalp Yatra, with an aim that no citizen of the country should be deprived of the major schemes of the union and state government, reached Jasad village of Jagadia Taluka in Bharuch in the western state of Gujarat. Vikas Yatra was welcomed by the senior officials and public representatives. Villagers took advantage of the stalls at the venue, disseminating information about various schemes which include Anganwadi, Arogya, Bank, Ayushman Card, Ujjwala Yojana. With the resolve to make India a developed nation by the year 2024, Prime Minister has launched the Vikas Bharat Sankalp Yatra from the 15th of November as Tribal Pride Day. Well, India is celebrating its Constitution Day today to mark the adoption of the Indian Constitution by the Constituent Assembly in 1949. Constitution Day is also known as Samvidhan Divas.
74 years ago, India's Constituent Assembly convened on November 26, 1949, to breathe life into the Constitution. The framers crafted a forward-looking, resilient document that reflects the nation's ideals and safeguards the future of every Indian. It is hailed as the foundation of the world's largest democracy, guiding its course and serving as a source of democratic governance and inspiration. On Constitution Day last year, Prime Minister highlighted global attention on India's progress and its strengthening international image rooted in the Constitution. He emphasized that "we the people" is not just a phrase but a call, a pledge and a belief that has made India the mother of democracy. The Constitution integrates the best from foreign constitutions while preserving India's ancient heritage and freedom struggle.
हमारे संविधान के प्रेम्बल की शुरुआत में जो वी द पीपल लिखा है, ये सिर्फ 3 शब्द नहीं है। वी द पीपल एक आह्वान है, एक प्रतिज्ञा है, एक विश्वास है। संविधान में लिखी ये भावना उस भारत की मूल भावना है जो दुनिया में लोकतंत्र की जननी रहा है, मदर ऑफ डेमोक्रेसी रहा है।
Under Dr. Rajendra Prasad's leadership and Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar's stewardship, the Constitution achieved a remarkable balance, pulsating with democratic spirit and adaptable to future needs. It endows every Indian with a duty to respect its ideals and institutions and embrace the legacy of the freedom struggle.
संसद में अभी हाल ही में जो
The recent enactment of the Women's Reservation Bill in our Parliament is a great example of elevating the role of our women. In addition to this, The setup of the Commission for the Amendment of Other Backward Classes has also been provided for in the Constitution.
उसकी व्यवस्था संविधान में की गई है.
The Constitution also advocates for gender equality, reflecting in provisions like the recent bill endorsing 33% parliamentary and state assembly reservations for women. It provides legal channels to address societal issues and aims to establish India as a democratic exemplar through constitutional amendments.
President Draupadi Murmu is unveiling the statue of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar in the Supreme Court premises on the occasion of the Constitution Day today. The President also planted a sapling in the premise of the Apex Court of India on the occasion. Well, after 76 years since independence, B.R. Ambedkar's statue there being installed in the Supreme Court premises. President Draupadi Murmu inaugurating the statue this morning, and the Chief Justice of India, D.Y. Chandrachud, also present there on the occasion along with the Union Law Minister, Meghwal. With the statue of the architect of the Constitution there on the day of the Constitution Day, which is also celebrated today. Today is also the National Law Day. Well, India is marking its 15 years since the horrific terror attack in Mumbai on the 26th of November 2008, carried out by 10 Lashkar-e-Taiba terrorists. At least 166 people lost their lives in the incident. The terrorists targeted multiple places in the attacks, including Chhatrapati Shivaji Terminus, Taj and Trident Hotels, Nariman House, Leopard Cafe, and Kama Hospital.
Mumbai, the city that never sleeps, became a battleground.
Remembering the attack, India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar took to social media, and I quote, "India's quest to bring those responsible for planning and executing these horrific acts to justice continues." U.S. Ambassador to Israel also tweeted a picture paying floral tributes to honor the memories of the victims lost. He pledged to continue to fight against acts of terror together with the government of India. Remembering the terrorist attack, Israeli ambassador to India, Naor Gilon, posted a picture of the Nariman House rooftop memorial where the names of all 2611 Mumbai victims are engraved. Well, this year marks the 15th anniversary of the tragic terror attacks. Israel unilaterally designated Lashkar-e-Taiba as a terror organization. On this day every year, India remembers the people and security forces who lost their lives while fighting the terrorists. In the terrorist attack that lasted 4 days or 96 hours, 15 policemen, 2 NSG commandos lost their lives. Among those were Major Sandeep Unikrishnan, who was serving in the elite 51 Special Action Group of National Security Guards, that's NSG. He was posthumously awarded India's highest peacetime gallantry award, Ashok Chakra. He displayed the most conspicuous bravery, camaraderie, and leadership of the highest order. India's Ministry of Rural Development kick-started its month-long campaign to spread awareness against gender-based violence in capital New Delhi on Saturday. Self-help groups network of over 9.8 crore rural women members will be engaged for this initiative. Here are the details.
We have with us Priti Sharan. She looks after rural livelihoods and also she's part of the Ministry of Rural Development. Thank you for joining us and speaking to us today. Important day. We're discussing initiatives on how we can combat the kind of violence women face, especially when it comes to gender-based violence. You've launched a campaign this year. There was one last year as well. Very, very briefly, tell us about the progress that has been made when it comes to curbing the menace of violence.
Okay, so within 1 year, we've made a lot of progress because last year, whatever campaigns were launched, and we did an assessment report, a baseline and an endline survey. With this 1 year-long campaign that we've had, 45% of our own SHG women, they said that yes, they'll speak up against the violence. So we have a long way to go, but the right way to go is to work at the grassroots with our women, because they're the change makers.
Lastly, we heard about change makers who had come from the Northeast as well, tell about their stories, inspiring stories though. So how is that coming along, getting more groups, integrating more groups and making sure that you're reaching out to women, say in the Northeast as well and other parts of the country? Has that been a challenging task for you?
It was initially, but a good job gets its own critical mass in the making. And today in Northeast, the kind of enthusiasm that we see, not just for gender, but for financial inclusion, for entrepreneurship, for every work that the Rural Livelihood Mission is doing, we are very enthused. I think we will really cover the whole of Northeast.
Digital literacy when it comes to financial inclusion remains something which the government has heavily focused on. Even when you recall, during its G20 presidency, India had made sure that women-led development or empowerment puts its particular focus on how to make women part of the financial system that has always, of course, been dominated by men. This is Jessica Taneja with video journalist Vishwa Bandhu in New Delhi for DD India.
Well, 15 selected films to compete for the prestigious Golden Peacock Award at the ongoing 54th edition of the International Film Festival of India in Goa. The stellar lineup of exceptional films consists of 12 international and 3 Indian films. The Golden Peacock Award is among the esteemed film honors in the world that recognizes excellence in filmmaking. The jury for this year comprises of veterans in the cinema industry from around the globe, with Indian filmmaker Shekhar Kapoor as the chairperson of the jury. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi will share his thoughts with the people of the country and abroad in his monthly program, that's Mann Ki Baat, today at 11 a.m. It will be the 107th episode of the monthly radio program, and the program will be live streamed on the entire network of Doordarshan. It will also be live streamed on the YouTube channels of DD India, PMO, and along with that, the Information and Broadcasting Ministry. Still to come on DD India News Hour. India's top shuttlers, pair of Satvik Sairaj Ranki Reddy and Chirag Shetty entered the finals of China Masters. Italy returned to the Davis Cup final after a gap of 25 years as Jannik Sinner beats Novak Djokovic not once, but twice.
We just don't bring you the news as it unfolds. We get to the heart of the matter.
We don't just present facts. We demystify complex social, political, and economic events.
We break stories that shape the world's present and future, because you deserve the truth.
I am Tanvi Taneja from New Delhi.
I'm Ollie Barrett from London.
I'm Nick Harper from Washington, D.C.
Join us on DD India Global Monday to Friday at these times.
You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Anil Thomas. Time now for updates from the world of sports. Well, first up, India play Australia in the second T20 International in Thiruvananthapuram, that's in the southern state of Kerala, on Super Sunday. India are up 1-0 in the 5-match series and will look to continue that winning momentum, while Australia are likely to bring back World Cup heroes Travis Head and Glenn Maxwell in the playing 11.
10 matches to go ahead of the T20 World Cup next year. 4 with Australia, 3 against South Africa, and 3 versus Afghanistan, and then the Indian Premier League. Which means India have to set their combination right in these 10 matches. India registered a record chase in the first game of the 5-match bilateral series against Australia. Setting off the right foot, a lot of positives to take away, but the Surya Kumar Yadav-led team will look to polish the rough edges in the bowling department and turn up strong in the next one in Thiruvananthapuram. Indian bowlers face challenges in the first game, and there may be a temptation to tinker with the bowling order. However, the management is likely to maintain the current lineup for the next match too. In the previous encounter, pacers Arshdeep Singh and Prasidh Krishna along with leg spinner Ravi Bishnoi were tonged for big ones. Mukesh Kumar, on the other hand, showcased variety and imagination in his deliveries, providing a template for the other bowlers to follow. On the batting front, India's top order featuring Surya Kumar Yadav, Ishan Kishan, Rinku Singh and Yashasvi Jaiswal exhibited fine form against the Australian bowlers in the first game. The team will look to maintain the momentum with Ishan Kishan aiming to reduce the number of dot balls during his innings. In the Australian camp, the century from Josh Inglis in the series opener provided a positive note. Steve Smith likely to open again along with Matthew Short. Both teams will be looking for improvements in their bowling departments, and Australia might introduce leg spinner Adam Zampa in place of Tanveer Sangha for added variety. Glenn Maxwell and Travis Head are also in the squad, and they might also be eager to be part of the 11. All in all, intriguing game is on the cards. Abhishek Mahajan's report, DD India.
Well, India's top doubles pair of Satvik Sairaj Ranki Reddy and Chirag Shetty in badminton entered the finals of the China Masters after they defeated their home favourites He Ji-ting and Ren Xiang Yu 21-16, 22-20 in the semi-finals in Shenzhen over the weekend. They will play their fourth final in the Badminton World Federation World Tour this year. They previously won all three of them. They were victorious in the Swiss Open, Indonesian Open and Korean Open this year. Satvik Chirag will face the winners of the second semi-finals in the final on Sunday. In tennis, Italy's Jannik Sinner beat Novak Djokovic in both singles and doubles to secure a 2-1 victory over Serbia. This brings Italy close to a Davis Cup finals after 25 years. Sinner and doubles partner Lorenzo Sonego beat the Serbian duo of Djokovic and Momir 6-3, 6-4 to secure a victory that sent the former champions packing and sparked wild celebrations at a heaving Martin Carpena Arena in Spain. It was a shocking defeat for Djokovic, who lost his first singles Davis Cup match since his semi-final in 2011 when he retired against Argentina's Juan Martín del Potro. Well, fans cheered the world's top 32 freestyle football athletes in Nairobi over the weekend in an event organized by the World Freestyle Football Association. 16 male and 16 female competitors, mostly from Europe and the United States, had gone through several qualifying rounds to reach the finals. After hours of grueling head-to-head matches, Augusta Mink of Poland was crowned the female champion of 2023. Norway's Ellen Fagerli was crowned this year's male champion. Fagerli had earlier announced that he was retiring from the sport at just 26 years old. Well, retiring at 26 is now the new buzz. Well, we'll leave it there. That's all in this edition of DD India News Hour. But let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. You can connect with us on Facebook, X, and also Instagram. You can visit our website, ddindia.co.in. We're going to be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Anil Thomas from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India News Hour.
A platform for the developing